so privileged that we're going to be exploring some simple shifts that create powerful change in classrooms and in schools. And today's conversation is all about one of the most overlooked leadership moves,
Mhm.
asking better questions instead of giving faster answers. Because if teaching is like cooking, many leaders are handing out recipes instead of helping their teams understand how to create the meal. So I'm excited to welcome Dr. Quadric Witherspoon, principal, culture builder, and a leader who understands that discipline and engagement don't start with control. So they start with connection. Dr. Witherspoon, welcome to the 10-minute spark.
Thank you. Thank you. It is an honor to be here.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump right in it because we only got a few minutes. So
Listen, 10
let
minutes.
me
Let's do it.
like we ready. We on Jeopardy. Price is right. We got that timer going. All
That's
right.
it.
When leaders shift from giving answers to
Mhm.
asking better questions, especially around student behavior, because we got we got
Listen.
we got some challenges there.
Yeah.
What actually changes?
So what changes is different and it's deeper than just the conversation style. So it's the power, the ownership, the culture, right? So what we realize is that as leaders, when we move from giving the answers to asking better questions, especially around behavior and disengagement, you begin to see a transformation in three key areas. And one of those areas is from compliance to ownership, right? And then you go from control to the relationship. And then my favorite, that surface level behavior to the overall the root cause, excuse me. So that's where I really want to focus at today because it's simple shifts like, why did you do that? That sounds accusatory, right? But if
Yes.
you shift that language from why did you do that to what led to that moment, that shift right there opens up the door for actual conversations and problem solving to actually begin instead of just the punishment piece of it all. So, as a principal, when I lead into those three consistently, what I started to notice is that the conversation shifts, the behavior declines, the teachers begin to also use some of that same language as well. And then the scholars articulate their feelings in a way where they realize that behavior is a form of communications, and mentally you begin to think that shift as well. I'm literally going from I am needing to fix this behavior to I need to develop this scholar.
I love how you use the word scholar too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
already is sending like the expectation to
yeah.
you're not just a student, you're a scholar. What is a
You are a
scholar? And
scholar.
setting that you own your behavior.
Yes,
You
it's
own
accountability.
this.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. I kind of miss the kind of charter school energy. I remember hearing that a lot in the charter school more than I've
Yeah,
heard in the public school, but it is what
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah.
Um this
10
got
minutes.
me
Look,
this
10
got me
minutes.
thinking about a lot of leaders though, they default
Hmm.
to telling because it feels good just to tell
Yeah.
somebody what to do. Like just do
Hmm.
this, just go down the hall. But over time, what happens when leaders ask instead of tell?
Yeah, you're right. It feels efficient, but it's efficient in that moment. So over time, what you're really doing is creating dependence while inquiry is actually building capacity. So for me, what I notice is that those slight inquiry shifts, speaking on the teacher ownership side, it goes from tell me what to do to here's my plan, right? So when leaders default to the directing of teachers, they're at that point wanting to know, well, this is what admin wants me to do, or just tell me what the expectation is. But when the leader is consistently responding to those questions, then they begin asking different questions, such as what is the impact, or what is going to be my overall next move. So teachers then come prepared to those meetings with questions, or they come to the meeting with answers and not just questions. So for me, you're literally building up teachers in a way where they are becoming leaders themselves. And then when we take it to the scholars or the cultural standpoint, which for me is another shift, it goes from compliance to professional agency. So we oftentimes think about what does a culture sound like with this type of energy or with this type of agency, and what we realize is that we're doing it just because, again, admin said so, right? But when you again shift that mindset to a cultural base thinking, or inquiry based culture thinking, you then are thinking from a lens of, we're doing this because it works, and here's why. Here's how I know that it works. So the difference between the two is huge, because what we realize is that when teachers are going to ask those particular questions, we're going from a reflection lens to a problem solving lens. And then at that point, they're able to internalize the expectation, they're able to adapt those strategies and apply them to their classroom. And then most importantly, they feel respected as professionals. And when that respect is there, the overall turns into investment.
Mm. I mean, that's a whole process. I like that. Reflect,
Yeah.
think about the problem. Like,
Yeah.
don't just, hey, this is the way we've always done it. We're going to
Oh,
do it this way.
that's those
Um,
seasoned teachers. This is why, this is how we've always done it, and it works. So look, as the young folks say, just let me cook. I'm like, the cooking right now is not happening. Let's look at this data. So when you take those things and you apply them to your everyday instruction, you then begin to see those shifts for sure.
Yeah, and it takes a shift in a leader to be open like that. So I commend you already for having the
Yeah.
openness to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this fast. I'm going to do
Yes.
this intentionally.
Ah.
And being intentional, sometimes it looks like you're moving very slow, but the process of learning and
Mm-hmm.
developing adults, it's
Mm-hmm.
not a fast process. So
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
think to yourself, do you want the microwave version? Or do
Uh-huh.
you want that grandma version that's gonna come out good in the oven when they
Yeah.
put everything together, you know?
Yep.
So
Yep.
and we know the microwave version how it tastes, and we know how that
It's,
oven food
I'm
tastes,
telling you,
right?
but that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. As a leader, you think about the inquiry piece. Yes, it's slower up front, and you tend to ask more questions. You tend to sit in silence more and resist the urge to jump in. And for me, that is the part that I used to struggle with, because we only have a certain amount of minutes to get through our data chats or our PLCs before the teachers have to be released back to the scholars. So it's like, okay, nobody's saying anything. Everybody's looking at me for answers. Oh my gosh, what's the problem? How
Yeah,
do
the
we move
pressure
this
is on,
forward?
right? I
The
got to give
pressure
them
is
some
on.
answers, right? Well,
It's on.
let's summarize this. If a principal is listening right now and
Yes.
wants to start this process tomorrow, what's one
Mhm.
simple question they can begin with using this with their staff?
Yes. So if it's fine, I'm going to actually give you one move within three embedded questions of what a leader could do in order to model inquiry. So within those meetings that we just talked about, right? Those PLCs, those data chats, instead of ending conversations with answers, let's end with commitment. So what is your next step? How are we going to know that that next step actually worked? And what is your plan if it does not work? So that last question is key, because at the end of the day, when it's the teacher's turns to actually apply those three questions, you are at that point, you're building proactive leaders versus reactive leaders. And again, you're not just discussing, you are building action and you're building ownership.
I love those 3 questions.
Yeah.
What are your next steps? And thinking about what's gonna happen if it doesn't work out, because we need to
Yeah.
plan to make adjustments, because learning and development is messy. It's not
Oh.
always, a straight line. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Witherspoon, that
Yeah.
was so powerful, and
Yeah.
because what I'm hearing is that culture isn't built in the answers.
No.
It's built in the questions we're willing to
Mhm.
ask and sit with. Like, let's
Yes.
just sit with that. Let's
Yeah.
marinate on
Yeah.
that. So, before we rush to fix, redirect, or respond, maybe
Yes.
the real shift is this:
Mhm.
ask first.
Ask first every time.
Every time. So, any little 20-second, any other little 20-second little blurb you want to put out there?
That was it. Ask first. Don't always jump to conclusions, because sometimes when you do jump to those conclusions, those answers are never received. They're either never received or they're not received well. So ask those questions, people.
Ask those questions. And so, thank you so much. Let's
Thank
close it out
you.
with a
Thank you.
reminder for every educator and every leader. this is a song from Fearless Educator. I did not end it like this on purpose, but sometimes,
Yeah, it
I got a
flows.
song called Ask First. We're going to play it for like 90 seconds. I want you to really listen to the words because
Yes.
I feel like, the culture,
Hmm.
we learn culture more through songs
Song. Yep.
too. So that's
That's the
why
culture.
Fearless Educator Radio came about to
I
change the
love it.
culture of
Yeah.
how we deal with teachers. How do we deal with students and get this little mindset? So I'm going to go ahead and play this
Yes.
and we're going to marinate on this a little bit.
Hmm.
Do we even understand it? Sometimes I'll be bopping my head though.
That's it. Yeah. Look, I already started.
Listen close to what they need before the plan, before the test. We ask first, we do our best. Who are the teachers in this place? What keeps them going day to day? What do they want? What do they fear? What makes them show up year to year? What conditions help them thrive? What steals the joy from staying alive? You can't coach a spreadsheet, so if you never ask what makes them whole, quiet attention. Outcomes without knowing the pencil. Decent number. While missing the movement.
Ask first.
At first, that's it.
Then we lead. Okay, we ask first, then we lead. So,
Absolutely.
you want to hear the whole song? Go check it out. Fearless Educator Radio, fearlesseducator.com. Thank you so much again, Dr.
Yes.
Quadric, for being here today. And we're gonna see you next Wednesday. We're gonna bring on another guest who's gonna kind of talk to us about some AI tools and how we can use that to make
Ooh.
our classrooms more efficient.
Yes.
So we're out.